Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope you're having a good morning. Ah, I'm gonna have some coffee here and get my morning started. I hope you have some beverage as well. And a toast to you. It tastes good. I think our camera's a little off. Straighten it out a little here. I think that's a little better, hopefully. You can catch all the action. Now, Luna's about the only action you actually ever get. The topic today is moving to another place. My a friend of mine is relocating. He's moving to Seattle. This is not about his choice, although I'm going to use him as an example. It's more about uh, just moving in general. I have to move, get a ball. So I've always found it extremely hard to move, but I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I tend to set what you call roots. And this, I'm defining roots as friends, family, and other things that make our life a little bit more rich with being around them. Moving would be hard for me because not only do we have me and my wife have friends and family. I know. She heard some gunfire because this is hunting season. So, yes, I know. I can hear it. It's all right, sweetie. It's all right. I'm all right. She's worried about me now. I'm going to be okay. It's all right. This is unusual. Usually she just runs for it. Go, go out a little bit. I know there's some gunfire. Go ahead. Come on. Back. Go that way. Go get it. Go get it. Oh, wow. She's going to get it even though there's gunfire. Good girl. Brave girl. Oh, you good girl. Yeah. That's, that's quite a development for her. She trusts me enough to go out there and get it. All right. Um, yeah, I've set my roots and build up my time with people here, and usually that's everywhere I go. Moving somewhere else has usually been extremely difficult. Now, if your wife is coming with you, of course, that makes it hugely easier for me. I Some people, I'm sure it's more stressful. Um, my first wife was very supportive of me moving down here, and she made friends very quickly, mostly through the children. We had young kids at the time, and they had their friends, and we had friends through their friendships. It was good. The friend that I have that's moving, it's going to be very sad for him to see him go, but he doesn't have, uh, he's not in a relationship right now, and he doesn't have children, and it, so moving up there is going to be uh, good for him in many ways. Um, Culturally, I think he might enjoy it more there. He enjoys art and uh, cinema, stuff of that nature. And even though we have a lot of that here in Austin, and he's enjoyed it, he's gone out and enjoyed it. I think he'll have a lot of that also in Seattle. So it's not like a huge cultural difference between Austin and Seattle. He'll be able to. I think there's a lot of improved hiking and other stuff up there that he could go do. There's definitely some more mountainous areas that he could go hiking. And anyways, um, like I said, I'm not specifically talking about him, but I'm just saying that i- for him, the roots aren't here, and he's moving from an area that's similar in many ways. Yeah, the there it rains a little more. Here's more sunny. That's big for some people, but I don't think that's going to be big for him. But everything else, culturally, is the same thing. So if you're moving from one place to another and you're not really changing a whole bunch, um, it's a that's kind of a wash. And even though we say that there's a lot of differences between areas, it's not really that great. In the U.S., we still have many common values across our countries and states. We want to say that they're hugely different because of the way we vote, Republican or Democrat or something like that. But the truth is, we're very similar in many ways. We think about things in in a very common fashion. We watch the same shows and stuff like that. So when you move here in the United States, it's not that big of a difference. Not saying that people don't experience that. Some people move and there is huge differences in the way the area they're at approaches things and what they support and what they do. There are differences, but I'm just saying he's not going from uh, an area in much of the uh, country. When you go from one metropolitan area to another metropolitan area, it's not as big as you might think. Now, that being said, there are things like uh, uh, places like New York City, who would be extremely different culturally for somebody like me, and because the urbanization of New York City is so much different from, I don't see your ball. Um, than Austin. We're much more broadly spread out, and it's a much more uh, flatter as opposed to the high rises and stuff like that. So those, yeah, sometimes like that would be very different. But even with that, we still have many of the same cultural uh, norms. I've had relatives that have moved to New York, and they said there's an adjustment, but commonality between people is still a lot. The main thing I was going to talk about is uh, how hard it is to move if you have something like what I have, which is not only do we have really good friends here in Texas, my family is here in Texas. Oh, there you go. Let's talk about family versus uh, moving. The reason I said kind of aha movement, I was planning on talking about getting out there, but my mother and my father's family very different when it came to this specific topic of where family was at. So my mother was in Boston, and not in Boston City itself, but a suburb outside of Boston called Bridgewater. And it's a little bitty town. And they grew up there. And my dad, he did lived on a farm in Missouri, and so his family grew up there. Now the big difference was as they matured, my mother's family stayed and worked in the Massachusetts area. They were, when I went up to visit them, they were all, I want to say, about a 2 hour drive from each other. Worst case, some of them actually fairly close together, half an hour trip. Um, I think the furthest that some of them went to was Vermont, um, which you know is right next to Massachusetts. So I, I, they may have been a 3 or 4 hour drive, but still not very far. And they were all, I went up to visit, and they had all this, people could come together to say hello, and it was good. Now, my father's side of the family, when they grew up, they dispersed. They went everywhere. They went to Colorado and Dallas, and um, one of them still stayed in Missouri. So when we went to go visit them, man, they were all over the place. The only time I actually saw them was when there was a funeral. When there was a funeral, they would all fly in for the funeral, and I'd get to see everybody. And they had good camaraderie and everything, but they definitely had quite the separation. Sometimes that's just the way it is, but I really like being together. My see my it was my dad was the oldest brother in his family, and his next oldest brother had some really bad health issues. He's up in Dallas, not very far from me. At the same time he was having health issues, I was having trouble with my dad. He's having some dementia. Not some, it was really bad. And I was trying to help out him and mom. His um his brother's health issues were really devastating on his kids. I didn't know that. Later, come to find out that his kids were annoyed with me because I wasn't there or helpful during their extremely stressful time. The connection was too weak. My mother had a stroke. She had her brother, he was traveling on trips. They never came to visit her. And I mean big trips. He lived in Florida and he was going to Europe. I think he went to Russia during that time. May have gone to Egypt. But that's the kind of trips he was taking, like big, long international trips. As a Christmas gift, he sent her a plant. And she cried and got annoyed with the gift because with her stroke, she was extremely weak. And she said, he sent me a plant. I can't even use my left side of my body. And my one hand, I'm weak. How am I supposed to dig and put a plant in and cover it? She's like, family, when they're close, they make you feel really good. My kids have been wonderful. Jackie's had some family here close as well. They've been really good too. Wonderful people. We've had it's a it's an interesting thing to when family. It's powerful when family's together. It really sucks when they're not. Anyways, ha, I've sat here and rambled, and I apologize for that. Travel and family, relocating. I'm gonna sum up what I've rambled about. If you can set down roots and get your family to be together, it can be a powerful, wonderful, beautiful thing. Not all the time, because some family is just annoying. I've seen it. I have experienced it because my family's been pretty awesome. But I know it can be. But if you can stay together in a community and bond together and share those things, that's a great thing in life. sharing that kind of stuff. I wish my friend well in Seattle. We'll miss him. He's a good guy. And I will not be moving anytime soon because I have roots here that are nourishing me and making me feel better every day. Love my kids. Love my friends. I like Texas too. Don't always agree with everybody, but I love the fact that there is a desire for everybody to be a better person. You guys take care. Hope you have some good roots that nourish you. Hope you, if you're having to move or relocate, I hope that you can find a place where you can land and not have bad things, but truly good things in your life. There's a lot of good out there in the world. It is tough to find sometimes, but it is there. All right, rambling, rambler, I'm leaving. You guys take care. Bye.